Yeah, the incidents we've been dealing with, probably the last thing we need at any time. And the point of coming up today was trying to reinforce the message to the public to please, consider us in your actions. We've had a busy time, and the implications for our resources and fire cover, and also trying to maintain a level of normality while the roads are closed down with the large number of visitors is the reason to come up today. Just asking people, please be careful and start to have a think about what you're doing, because certainly the last couple of days, myself, David and Paul, we have been stretched as a service, particularly with the incident yesterday. But it probably started for us on Friday, really, with the mountain road goes one way, which is great. And I know a lot of people say about the mountain road going one way, how long before it shuts due to an accident? Well, I think if I hand over to David, I think we hold the record for getting it closed, on Friday.
Yes, we had an incident come in on Friday. 14 minutes actually after the mountain road went one way, so after it opened to one-way traffic, 14 minutes we were alerted to someone who was burning off up by Harold Tower there. Fire crews responded one way up the mountain. In attendance, they had to then request police close the road because they had to deal with the situation, which, to be honest, could have quite easily been avoided if the person who was burning off just let our control room know. We know it's a controlled burn, we know it was tended to and it was safe. It saves that unnecessary response. As the deputy was saying a second ago, the emergency services were really strapped during TT Fortnight, and the last thing we can afford to do is commit resources unnecessarily to little things like that.
Because besides the fires at this time of year, which fortunately for the TT in terms of the good weather, but unfortunately it means that the ground and foliage and whatnot is very, very dry. Besides that, you potentially have road traffic collisions to be dealing with, and also cover for the practices and racing as well, don't you?
Yeah, we've got various officers in different locations, and you're quite right, particularly this time of year. At the moment it's very dry, a bit of rain could come due any day. That'll just make the ground moist, but it's still windy, that'll still be dry, so if there's a fire and they're going to get the embers, it's going to pick up again. We have additional officers in race control, ESJCR, we've got somebody inside the course at Kurt Michael, all the duty officers moved around, additional crews in the pits. Thankfully there was a small fire in the pits last night in the warm-up area, which our crews dealt with very successfully. And also particularly yesterday we had the incident out west where that had started off. Somebody again had set a bonfire, hadn't informed the control room, and that had got out of control and spread into the scrub, and that turned into a very significant incident. Had that been when the roads were closed for racing, for example, the amount of appliances and equipment and personnel that we had to commit to that incident, that would have affected racing. But I'll probably time to speak to Paul about that incident because he was officer in charge.
What was it like to deal with that one, Paul?
It was incredibly difficult. The location didn't lend itself, fortunately, for water supplies. Fortunately, the property owner actually had a couple of ponds within his property we were able to draw water from. But the weather conditions had accelerated the fire spread. It pushed the fire probably, we estimate, over 800 metres through gorse and farmers' fields, etc. So the crews were stretched. In the end, I think we had 5 firefighting appliances, 2 off-road vehicles, a bulk water carrier, and the incident command vehicle. I think it was 35 firefighters in total were at that incident, which took all the resources from the south, west and of the island and some from Douglas.